Today I'm going to show you how I like to make roasted Brussels sprouts with goat cheese and a little bit of balsamic. Of course, it starts with Brussels sprouts, some olive oil, Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper, and some goat cheese and balsamic glaze. Of course, you have to start by cleaning up your Brussels sprouts. So you cut off the stem end first. I like to pull off any of the outer leaves, especially anything that's all yellowed or kind of funny looking. I mean, sometimes they're a little bit wilted looking. Just pull all those off, and then cut each of those sprouts in half. And I like to transfer them to a Ziploc bag. Once these are all cut up and your bag is full, you're ready to start seasoning. And I start with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Just kind of mush that bag around a little bit to get the olive oil sort of coating on all of the pieces of Brussels sprouts. And then I add the Parmesan, salt and pepper. Just sprinkle that on in there. And this is where it gets a little more messy, so I always close the top. And then you can just kind of keep tossing this around until the seasonings are well coated on all the pieces of Brussels sprouts. Once you have that done, you transfer to a baking sheet. And I have lined this one with parchment paper. It's not strictly necessary, but I do like the easy cleanup it gives me. And you need to be sure you are spreading out the Brussels sprouts. They should not be touching each other. They like a little bit of breathing room. It helps them to roast rather than steam. And I also have a thing where I like to turn them all over so the cut side is down so that the cut edge roasts nice and evenly. Once you have these in place, they go in a 400-degree oven. I'm using convection roast for mine, for about 20 to 30 minutes. During that time, I like to crumble up the goat cheese. Goat cheese can get very soft, especially if it's been at room temperature for any amount of time. So sometimes you have to use both a fork and a butter knife to kind of make crumbles, but it all works out. Now, because I used convection roast, 20 minutes was plenty, and I'm just going to check this and ensure that cut edge looks absolutely delightful. So I will transfer these to my serving bowl. I'm purposely using a slightly shallow type serving bowl to have more surface area on top, because that's where I'm adding the goat cheese and I want it all over as much as possible. Let that goat cheese sit there, and because it's nice and warm, it'll start to melt a little bit. And then I like to add a little bit of balsamic glaze. Now, these last 2 ingredients are entirely optional. The Brussels sprouts will be perfectly delicious with just the Parmesan cheese and salt and pepper. Again, the goat cheese and balsamic is just an extra layer, but I simply love it. I hope you give this a try because I think that you will love it too. Enjoy.